Hello everyone, my name is Ralph Caffrey and I want to make this video about MintSIM. To give you a little bit of background, I've had AT&T for about 13 years, and in 2011 I got a smartphone, which was an iPhone 3GS, and went from paying about 50 or so a month to, I think, paying 60 a month and having 2 gigs of data, uh, and like 400 minutes and 100 text messages. Before I was paying by the megabyte for data, I think, or maybe even less. I don't know. I never used a feature phone for data, but anyway, a few years later, got married. Now my wife and I share a 6 gigabyte plan and have unlimited text and talk on a mobile share plan, and that comes out to about 90 something dollars a month. But it really, we're paying about 130 or so because, well, it's 137 because we have 2 phones that we're paying on. Well, heard about MintSIM, and I decided that after all this time, I'm finally going to switch. So I paid off the 2 phones and made the order, which was 3 months of service for both of us, and I get 3 months free because of the promotion they're doing in December 2017, and that was 120 because I got 10 gigs of data for me and 2 gigs of data for her. So that's that comes out to 120. And here it has come in the mail. So, since there are, to my knowledge, no MintSIM videos that are not sponsored by MintSIM about it, and not a whole lot of articles either, I hope to make one because the articles that you do see don't explain the things that I would really want to know before switching, like what is your location, what phone do you have, who was your previous provider, and what was your coverage with them, and what do you do with your phone? What do you expect from it? Personally, I've got an iPhone SE. My wife has an iPhone 6S, and she doesn't really use hers that much, not on Wi-Fi, but I drive around all the time and cut yards, so sometimes I need to map something on Google Maps, or just I'm bored waiting in the truck, so I'll just look something up, read the news, and like I said, it's all over the city, so I like to have the good coverage that AT&T has, but sick of the price, and want to try this new thing. So let's unpack this and set it up. Alright, got this package open. Here's my invoice and my 2 MintSIM booklets. For help with setting up your phone and account, a guy on YouTube, Stetson Doggett, has a video about all that kind of thing. Doggett. So that was what I used to ensure that I knew what I was doing, but I guess I'm gonna go ahead and set my wife's phone up first because I'm recording this with mine. So again, if you need help setting up your MintSIM phone, I'd say watch Stetson's video because it's really well made and a lot better than I could do on this one. But I'm gonna get the phone set up and hopefully show you the initial results. I had a little bit of a concerning moment that I didn't know what to do with my account number because I only have one account number and we have both of our phones on it, but I put in the account number for her phone, for both of our, for our AT&T account, and got her phone set up. So here it is with the Mint logo here, and I will, let's see, turn the Wi-Fi off. Let's see if I can access cellular data. We're now connected to Mint's LTE network. Try going to a website. All right. Kotaku works fine. So that's all that really matters. I'm sure my wife cannot wait to navigate to Kotaku and read gaming news. But I'm inside, and I'm connected with full LTE bars here. Though I do live in the middle of the city, so I'm sure that as I go around, I'll find certain places where I have less coverage. But it's encouraging to know that I'm inside and immediately connected to LTE data. I just tried to call her, and it did not work yet. I guess that the number hasn't been ported over quite yet. It did say that it would take up to 24 hours, so it's been about 24 minutes, not even that. So, but as you can see, I just texted her. I'm still connected to AT&T LTE, and she's connected to the Mint LTE. So this worked, and when I started typing to her, I could see the little bubbles pop up right away. So I know that iMessage is working fine. I'll try a text message now. Text messaging is working. Just sent a message to Brian. You got it. He's bro. It did work. Just used the speed test, the Ookla speed test app that you can download, and I got 14 down and 2 up with my phone, and then I tried it again and got 14 down, 10 up. And then I tried it again with the one that Google uses. If you just Google speed test and use the built-in one from Google. And the Ookla one pinged Houston in 65 milliseconds both times. And then the Google one pinged Chicago, which I didn't know why that happened, but it pinged it in 185 milliseconds, and it got 6 down, 9 up. And then I tried it again, and I got wildly different results. I got 12 down, 10 up. And then I tried it again with my wife's phone, and I got 168 milliseconds. This is with the Google ping, the Google speed test, and I got 16 down, 9 up. 16 and a half down, 9 and a half up. With AT&T here at my apartment, I was getting roughly 45 down, 20 up. Um, and elsewhere, I pinged it again on a busy street, kind of on the outskirts of the city, but where a lot of people live, Highland Road, near the country club, if you live in the area. And I got 20 down, 10 up there. So and I think that I generally got very fast speeds all around the city. Like that. I mean, I never really waited for a video to load or a page to load over LTE. Um, so I'll have to check this throughout the coming days and see how it works around the city. Um, hey, y'all. We've now spent our first week with MintSIM service, and it has been pretty great, especially knowing that $120 has just paid for our next 6 months of service. Some notes I've taken is that the speed is noticeably slightly slower in most situations. Like if you're scrolling through someone's Facebook album, and you know how as you scroll, the photos like populate, and you can kind of slowly start to see the preview image of each new photo as you scroll through. That happens slightly slower than it did on AT&T, but I mean, it's not a deal breaker for sure. I mean, it's fine. Other things, maps. Whereas before I would load the map and the directions would appear immediately, now the delay is like a second. And that was in one area I noticed that, and then in another area I didn't really notice it. So I haven't really needed to map too many things out yet, but I did it in 2 areas, and they were across town from each other, and so that was encouraging to see that mapping things still works pretty great. I've only found one area with no service so far, and that was inside of a restaurant, which was Bistro Byron's on Perkins. It just flat out no service once we walked inside. And at one point I did get 1 bar of LTE, but that didn't work for very long, and it went right back to no service. As soon as we walked outside into that little neighborhood that is built behind it, or well, outside of the restaurant, everything was working fine. Only one area with 1 bar, which was inside of the country club, which I was in on Friday, mowing yards, and it didn't really like affect the speed too badly of my browsing, which I tried to do, and that was where I was using the map, and it didn't really noticeably affect the speed any worse or better than usual. No drop calls so far, and one time I was getting a group message from 2 friends, and one of the friends' messages were appearing, but the others weren't. So it was like I was hearing one side of the conversation. It was weird, but I've never had that happen before or since with iMessage or with, and this was 2 friends who both don't use iPhones, so it was MMS. It was actual text messaging, and I've never had that happen before or since because none of the people that I work with have iPhones. So, and all of their messages come through just fine. Another thing I did was I checked the speed around a bunch of different areas where we went. Um, it's all pretty much the same as I had noted before, about 10 up, 10 down, 6 up, around there. Sometimes 20 up, 10 down, 20 down, 10 up, sorry. And at one point, I went to the park and I was getting 40 down, 10 up. Like I said, overall, my wife and I are very impressed with this service so far. After so long of having AT&T, just can't say enough about the fact that I know I'm spending less than half of what I was for all this time and getting not only more service, but just the saving all that money. I mean, wow, can't believe I didn't switch before, but I guess MintSIM hasn't really been out for that long. And AT&T, it has its perks. I mean, just a few weekends ago, we were hunting. My friends were hunting, and my wife and I were sitting around a fire eating jambalaya and Doritos. And we were sitting around the fire streaming a football game in HD on my friend's tablet, and he has AT&T. And that's in the woods north of Alexandria. And so, in that regard, AT&T, it definitely has its perks. I mean, I've driven to North Carolina, Virginia, never lost service that I know of along the way, really, for any amount of time, and had fast service. I mean, I could stream video at any point the whole way, whereas some of my friends had Sprint, they couldn't. But we don't travel that much, and for what I use it for, which is driving around the city and using maps and reading the news sometimes, and what my wife uses it for, which is honestly not much. I mean, we kind of are on Wi-Fi quite a bit of the time, especially at home, and she has Wi-Fi at work. So if she wants to call the Philippines back home, she can easily, but even if she wanted to call them over the cellular network, it would work just fine. Basically, I've noticed a lot of videos about MintSIM are either sponsored by Mint or are just a news story by someone like CNET or something where it just generally goes over, what a great deal Mint is, and or just says, like, sign up for it, but nothing really in depth. So hopefully I answered more questions that someone like myself would have wanted to know, and I can help some of you make a decision to switch to Mint or stay with what you've got. If you've got any questions, please ask me. I can update the video. I can shoot a new video. Maybe I'll do that like toward the end of my 6-month service and give another update as to how I like it then and whether I'd stick with it again. So just let me know if you want to know anything else. Thanks for watching, and y'all have a nice day.